Painfully, I watched as some real estate agents that I know very well talk about their experience with not even their own, really, but somebody that sent them a video that they were able to produce who's not in real estate, doesn't have anything to do with real estate, but created a video on one of the systems out there and the Sora potentially. And he basically put the phone in front of him and looked up, down, right, left, gave him a voice snippet, answered some questions, read some numbers, and voila, there he is in his own video talking about real estate and was able to just create something out of nothing, kind of vibing it into existence is the kind of the new technological term. And oh my gosh, I was watching the reaction to this, and part of me is thinking, I guess, well, maybe because I'm not into sports, people talk about sports, I'm a little gray on that whole situation. It's just not something that I'm focused on. Maybe they're not focused on AI, but being in business, representing clients, buyers and sellers, I think that's where your focus should be if you're somebody that's trying to sell people's residences and protect buyers when it comes to purchasing houses. I was just absolutely stunned by the unknown and this excitement that they had at this potentiality that somebody could actually create a video from not even having to do it like I'm doing this one, but actually have their face recorded and the system itself could put it together. That made me nervous. It made me nervous from the vantage point. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're somebody that represents people in the sale of something or selling a service to something, don't you owe it to those clients to be at the top of your game? I remember back in the day when I first started in real estate, 98, 99, 2000, those years, there really wasn't a lot happening on the front. You started seeing the dot-com boom come about. You had people building websites for you at thousands, tens of thousands, twenties of thousands, lots of thousands of dollars, trying to put all these things together, and they would charge you an inordinate amount of money. About 2004, 2005, blogging was kind of a thing that people were doing, talking about vacations and family trips and traveling. That content, that's what really drove that market. And back then, a lot of agents, I suppose it's very similar to where we are today, they would pay people to produce content for them. Me, I would struggle and work on those particular articles, answering questions that people had in real estate. I think that's the perfect alignment for a real estate agent. And that's even more important today if you're representing people that are selling and buying real estate. You can't just trust that some other entity is going to do it correctly. You have to understand the way around this process, just like somebody, at least for now, somebody that knows coding really is the one, that subject matter expert when it comes to utilizing somebody else utilizing a large language model to build code or to write code to build a web funnel or a website or a web app. Somebody that knows coding could look at it and fix it. Now, that's an easy end of it. If you're talking about trying to predict global warming changes and the particular animals and these sorts of things that are going to potentially expire or go extinct, trying to look at those models, or maybe space and time and, where the planets align. All right, well, now we're getting someplace, but we're just talking about real estate. We're just talking about something that by an agent using a large language model in their daily business of real estate, just asking questions, they could improve their clients' abilities by tenfold, 20, maybe even 100% increase over where they are. And I don't believe that takes away from them, but the it just disturbed me watching that they had no idea and they were so impressed. And these are top agents, folks. These are people that are in the game, in the trenches. They have massive teams. They are part of a particular real estate company that brings people on. They get cuts of all this commission. So everybody they have under them that are gleefully signing up under them in this particular brokerage model, they're shocked that somebody can produce a video from their phone, having AI do it just with a few up and downs and lefts and rights, and also listening to their voice, and they produce a video. I'm just shocked and appalled. Here's the deal for those agents that are watching that are now completely offended. I apologize, but this had to be said. You're doing yourselves, and even beyond that, you're doing your clients a massive disservice by not jumping into this technology and trying to figure it out. I understand you're busy. You have things to do. Maybe you've been in real estate like these cats, 20,000 years before it even started. But in those cases, I'm 56. I'm no spring chicken. I've been doing this since 98. I had an entire life as a cop in between. I had other things I did in between. But ultimately, you still have to go where your clients are going to get the best service and best representation. And by doing so, you make their experience better. You give them better results. And at the end of the day, I guess the most important part is they're protected and they get the best value. So they get the best net. They get the best proceeds from whatever it is you're doing for them, whether that's purchasing the right residence, getting the best commission, selling their house for the best cost, getting the best price, having that expert that you are, that consummate real estate professional on their side, making sure that the negotiation process goes as it should be. In case you don't know, the large language models themselves, they are incredibly smart just by interacting with them. You're going to be smacking on, slapping on, putting a trailer that carries 30 to 60 IQ points or maybe even more on top of your own brain bucket here. You're going to start to understand a lot more than you might currently understand. And if you're a real estate agent, you can put in any competitor's name and find out how they're positioned. I have spreadsheets put together by AI that talk about the top ranking videos on YouTube that Real Estate Agent produced. This isn't part of that. This is something for my fellow agents because I just don't want you to struggle through this process and look like complete people that aren't even bothering to care about their clients or not even bothering to care about where their business happened to be positioned. And you know what? It might not be about you or your business, but for God's sakes, if you're going to be helping people out, you need to understand the tools of the trade. Here's a story for you. Here's what actually happens. What if you were to have an infrastructure in place where you have a lead that comes in, and the lead comes in via some kind of social media response? Maybe you get a text message, a voicemail call, something, some kind of point of contact. And then the system, an autonomic system, something that's been set up that has triggers and workflows in it with an AI overlay and also human, of course, vetting of everything, takes that particular lead and gets it to the point where you get to talk to them on the telephone. That's a lot different than somebody calling you and leaving you a voicemail. If somebody calls you and you miss it, that speed to lead thing is a real problem. If you're not on it within a few minutes, you're going to miss it and lose it forever. What if there was a system with an AI overlay that took care of all that? That's what we're talking about. Not only that, it gives value to the client. You are trusting Zillow potentially. You are trusting Realtor.com or maybe Homes.com. Maybe you're paying out a lot of money at the supermarket to be, that presence in the checkout line or on a shopping cart or in a lane separator, whatever it may be. You can take that money and you can put it into ads that are engineered and made by artificial intelligence that are going to get some incredible results, incredible leads, people that want to buy and sell real estate, not hoping that they're going to see your picture on those separators at the supermarket or at the golf pro shop or in some kind of pamphlet that somebody called and told you that we're only sponsoring one agent, so you better get on it. That doesn't help. That's $500, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Billboards, yeah, they're great. They make you feel good. People walk, see you on the billboard. Oh, I work with their team. But, that's a very small portion of the client base out there. A lot of people are going to Zillow. And yes, Zillow makes introductions to real estate agents, but a lot of those same people are tied up in social media. What if you could use AI to make you the perfect ad that generated results? What if that ad was able to be tested in an A/B testing process? So you have one variation here, one variation here. Maybe you have a dozen of those different variations, two each, and you go out and you do a very little bit of an ad spend. First, even before you spend any money on ads, then you start to position those in your social media channels and you start talking about them. Then you see one that gets like double or triple the results of the rest, more views, more people commenting, more interaction. Then that's the one you take, combined with maybe another one that got some kind of a high credit score when you placed it out there in the free world. Now you do that advertising on the Meta or on Meta, of course, within Facebook or Instagram. and other systems as well. There are a few others, but really that seems to be that core advertising for real estate agents. And then you start getting, 10, 12, 14 leads. And then these people are coming in, and of those you get a few because of the way your AI outreaches, the way your AI keeps up, the way your AI is always listening to these different channels that you have it actively acting on. So basically, AI is going to be listening to your Facebook, the DMs, anything coming in from your various Facebook pages, Instagram as well, TikTok, all of the other social media platforms, and it's going to be listening. And once somebody does something, then AI is going to take that information. It's going to determine what this is. Then after it figures out, is this somebody that you need to call right now? Is this somebody that's looking for an appointment? Is this somebody that just wants to get a home value to find out what your commission might be? Whatever that person is, then that system is going to take it as far as it can potentially take it until a human being needs to step in. And that's you. You doing this for your sellers, taking a listing that they give you and not just relying on the syndication websites to take it all that way. You can actually put it and advertise it and start getting a lot more eyeballs on it than other people. And what does that do? Well, it not only helps your seller with exposure on their particular listing that they're trusting you with, and that you're not sitting around being surprised that there are these videos with apes working at Starbucks, throwing people out on their face, or Will Smith eating spaghetti. You're finally realizing, oh my God, this is a brave new world, and I need to jump on and learn all this. Your sellers are now completely blessed because now they're seeing that their real estate listing is getting so much more exposure, that they're getting so many more offers, that price just keeps climbing up because you're able to strategize and use artificial intelligence, of course, with a human vetting system involved, but you're able to use that to make the best, most pristine, the perfect, the most clickable ads. And then from those leads, you have a system that also takes care of all of those. So you're not wasting a penny in your ad spend or your seller's ad spend, and you're getting their house in front of more eyeballs. Now let's talk about the buyer side for a second. You can use AI for those same systems. A buyer's looking for a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath in Valencia, somewhere maybe between 1,700 and 2,300 square feet. Maybe you guys have talked, and 2,000 looks good. They have a particular price in mind. Let's say with all in amount is going to be $850,000. That's all in. That's going to include any kind of an HOA, any kind of a Melrose, and plus their basic principal, taxes, and insurance on that residence. You can take all of that also using an AI overlay, and you can take that MLS data, of course, privatize it so it doesn't go public, because some of this information is proprietary in nature, but you can use that, and you can then start hunting for your buyers at a much higher level. In fact, as if you are the Einstein of real estate, if in fact it wasn't about physics, but about buyer representation, finding those buyers, that perfect real estate listing. That, my friends, Mr. Agent that's out there, shocked that they're actually doing videos with rabbits jumping on trampolines and they're completely fake, just blows your mind. This is where you start to need to be thinking. So there's other processes in place with AI. Artificial intelligence has these fluid workflow systems that now free up your time to maybe learn about AI. So you're not so surprised on video talking about how amazing it is that this actually can make your text better and improve an email. Of course it does that. And it's just getting better. AI is going to be the worst ever at this moment. It's constantly getting better. Here's something in finality. You should learn these systems. I have a class on Monday. It's free. It's at 10 a.m. You can see that at Santa Clarita, artificialintelligence.com. It's a weekly webinar that I do. This is what I talk about. I talk about best positioning, best practices. You can use AI. You don't have to go out there and learn all these things. You don't have to be a coder to be able to bring funnels and websites and web apps into the world, into existence. ChatGPT and these other $20 a month models do just fine at creating these things. But after you do that, where do you put it? How do you host it? Well, that's another question that they can ask. Then how do you hook it up with your CRM? Again, it's able to be done so much easier today. You just have to learn a little bit about it. I remember back, and if you're watching this, the agent that I'm talking about, You were in the market at the same time back in the 2000s. You've probably been doing this 20 years on my side before 1998, maybe 78 or 88 is when you first got licensed. But you remember back in the day when a person couldn't do their own website. They didn't have Wix or these other systems where you could just drag and drop modules in there and put out a website. The IDX enabled websites, those took a little while to come online and they were horribly clunky and they were a horrible experience. Now people really fall back on the understanding that you're not going to out Zillow, but you as an agent could put together your own vibe coder website that's probably going to be better than Zillow. Zillow's too big and not as nimble as you as a singular entity that's using AI and the function and performance of their duties as a real estate agent representing buyers and sellers wherever your market happens to be. Don't miss this. Don't miss this technological boom and try to understand how these systems work. And finally, don't pay these, dare I say it, kids. Not that there's anything wrong with kids. You can build it. You can learn how to. You can utilize systems that I put in place. It's important to have that standing and understanding where the world is. Somebody that doesn't understand the overall historical value of real estate and where leads came from back in the day, how hard they were to get, how we wore out multiple pairs of shoes, banging on doors, interruption marketing on all different levels, including before the spam Canac phone calls. And that doesn't seem to stop many people today. You have to have that perspective as well. You as a real estate agent should know you have to be nimble and adjust, and you know everybody wants to put their hand in your pocket to get whatever money you have left. You see it hand over fist. You see people that are out there constantly telling you how many leads they're going to get you and how they're going to, well, not do it. What they hide, though, is the fact that they have particular fees. I understand they say it's only a referral fee or you'll be guaranteed 10 to 14 listing appointments. Yeah, that's vague. And there is no negative to come if they don't perform that, but they got your money in a particular way to be able to put their things in place. And that's their business model. If they get 1,000 agents that are paying $500 a month each and because you don't have to pay anything for leads, well, why wouldn't they want to accept that? They would never have to give out one lead, and most agents would probably stay forever because a lot of agents look at the money as if they stole it. So they don't really put a lot of value in themselves or their craft. You need to stop that. You need to get your mind right. You need to start appreciating where AI is today and where it's going to be tomorrow, which nobody can see it has any idea of. There are only a few decisions away from this continuing to improve. You should be learning about it. You should be doing the videos like this guy talked about. Oh, it's so amazing. I had no idea. You should be doing that. A lot of these systems are free. And if they're not free, they're much cheaper than you're going to pay anywhere else. Finally, here we go for the third time. You owe it to your clients to be AI enabled. You need to learn this. You need to understand it because real estate sellers, folks, they see you. They see you walking around. They hear your commission rate. They understand everything's negotiable, but they're seeing other people that are using AI infrastructures, and it's saving those sellers a lot of money. You need to get on this bandwagon. You need to understand what that looks like. So if you are out there charging multiple percentage points to sell residential real estate, you need to be able to justify that if that's your world, because you will lose to somebody using AI that's able to streamline that entire process from beginning to end and get better results for their clients as sellers and also buyers. That's it. I'm going to get off my high horse or my chair. And I hope this helps. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. You can see where I got all my junk at Santa Clarita artificialintelligence.com. I have a few other irons in the fire, but it does have a pretty fantastic AI overlay. You'll be able to see some of the things that I have done and some of the offerings that are out there. Again, just protect yourself. If you want me to go through your business as an AI growth architect and see where you happen to be positioned and figure out the best ways for you to maybe change that and make it better, as I knock the mic away, reach out to me. I'd love to help. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.